I'm not stopping the tariffs. And I have to tell you that, on April 2nd, I was going to do it on April 1st, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I made it April 2nd. The tariffs go on. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
That's U.S. President Donald Trump now saying April 2nd is when Canada and Mexico should prepare for 25% tariffs. This as opposed to March 4th next week. Now, over the past month, industries and businesses have scrambled to come up with a plan to stem the bleed from Trump's demands. And this morning, Brampton announced it will create a task force to deal with the tariff threats. Councillor Rowena Santos is a part of that task force. She's co-chair of Brampton's Economic Development Committee and joins us now. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
So you heard Trump's clip there with this April 2nd date being floated. How does that make you feel? What are you reacting to right now?
Well, I've been kind of sounding the alarm and taking this issue on tariffs quite seriously since before the Christmas holidays last year. And joking aside, for April Fool's Day, I sometimes describe this situation with Trump tax and Trump tariffs as like being on a roller coaster without a seatbelt holding a cat. And the kid in front of us ate too many hot dogs and cotton candy. You just don't know what's going to hit you next.
Oh, that's graphic. What does that indicate to you?
Well, I think all joking aside, it's very serious. Listen, you said it just now. A lot of businesses, the provincial, the federal governments, we're all scrambling amidst this chaos, not knowing if he's going to do it, if he's not going to do it. He first said it was going to be, March the 4th next week. Now he's pushing it to April the 2nd. It's unpredictable. And what's sad is that there are jobs at risk here. These are people's jobs, livelihood, businesses who've made significant investments either in the US or in Canada who are going to be impacted by this Trump tax in whatever form it may take.
And what are you hearing from your local businesses?
We in Brampton have been really engaged with them. The city of Brampton is the third largest city now in Ontario, the second largest in the GTHA. We're next to the airport. We are home to CN Intermodal, biggest hub that they have in the country. And so the goods from Brampton get shipped to the States, many to Tennessee, and then back again to Brampton. Those trains will eventually slow down. They're starting to slow down simply because of the level of uncertainty. So the businesses are really have been reaching out to us, working with us to find solutions to help deal with the uncertainty. But more importantly, today we announced a couple of things, including access to markets outside of the United States.
For context, how many of the businesses in Brampton actually export to the U.S. and how many individuals do they employ?
So I'll give you an example. One example is Zochem. Zochem is the producer of zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is found in toothpaste, diaper cream, tires, rubber tires. 90% of their product produced in Brampton gets shipped to the United States. 90%. At the same time, Zochem, which is an outstanding business in Brampton, has a plant in Tennessee as well. But there's no way that Zochem can separate the integrated supply chain because what's produced in Brampton ends up going to Tennessee to be produced into other products. And the plant in Tennessee cannot handle expansion. And therefore, with this American business of Zochem also located in Brampton, they will be hit twice. They are still committed. They're 450 employees. They have 450 employees in Brampton. They're still committed to all of those employees. Similarly, Stellantis, 3,000 employees in Stellantis in Brampton. They've temporarily put a pause to reassess, the market, given some of the changes on the EV market right now. Nonetheless, they remain committed to Brampton and the investment that they've made, millions of dollars in Brampton.
So tell me about this divestment piece. Looking at other opportunities, what has been explored so far?
Well, our economic development team and our council, even before a lot of these threats, really valued the other allies we have out there outside of the USA. So we've looked at Portugal, we've gone to Ireland, I've personally gone to Japan and Germany. Folks have gone to Germany to strengthen some of those business relationships that we have who have businesses here in Brampton, but are based outside in Europe and elsewhere. So those relationships have been forming. Now it's a matter of leveraging all of that investment that we've done in a situation like this and going full force to access those markets. The federal government obviously has a role to play in this, because if U.S. is going to shut down access to their market and try to encourage us to find markets elsewhere, perhaps they could, and part of what we passed today at Council in Brampton was to advocate to the federal government to help cover some of the logistics costs of accessing some of those new markets for the businesses in Canada.
You're talking about shipping costs, because we're not just putting it south of the border. You're talking about, going over water here.
Yeah, shipping, logistics, air, you name it. A lot of those goods are already coming through to Canada already. Now it's just trying to determine how we access those markets even more. And, interprovincially, in Brampton last month, we passed a motion looking at our own procurement policies. $1.4 billion is our budget in Brampton. That's a lot of purchasing power. And when you look at all the other municipalities in Canada who are looking to do the same, which is a not made in America approach to their procurement, there's opportunities interprovincially to support each other within our own procurement policies.
I mean, I just have 30 seconds with you, but has there been any movement on that? Because we've seen a lot of talk about interprovincial trade, but has there been any movement on your end? Have you heard anything?
I know that the big city mayors caucuses and through FCM, I'm a board member of FCM, there's been ongoing conversations of what that will look like. And certainly we have board meetings at FCM representing 2,100 municipalities across the country. We're going to be talking about some of these things. And with the federal government working on a lot of these initiatives, hopefully they'll have those conversations. Trudeau has been having ongoing meetings with the different provinces as well.
Thanks so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Rowena Santos is a Brampton City Councillor and co-chair of Brampton's Economic Development.